Heritage has been described to me as something worth keeping. You don't have something that's 1,000 years old unless you take care of it when it's 100 years old. And that's the aim of this project really, is to keep this building going so that people for generations can still appreciate it. My name's Gervais Laurie. I work for Wellington City Council on the Town Hall redevelopment project, and I manage architecture, heritage and the tenancies. So the Town Hall is where the civic administration of the city took place. So that means that the councillors had their debates within the Town Hall, and the decisions that guided the city through the last 100 years, the major ones, would all have been made in the Town Hall. Not just the civic side, it's always been a venue where bands can perform or public speeches can be made, and it holds a lot of manner for those reasons. When I think about how they would have built the Town Hall, I'm incredibly impressed about the detail that they've managed to put into it. The Town Hall would never be able to be built nowadays in the manner that it was built 100 years ago, and that we're trying to maintain as much as we possibly can. So it's an important part of the heritage aspect. We're managing to preserve and strengthen that construction for future generations.
The Town Hall was a grand old building. It stood the test of time for 120 years, and even now, I mean, the bones of it are still very much worth saving. My name's Jeremy Perrott. I'm an architect with Athford Architects. So the challenges in terms of redeveloping an existing heritage building compared to building new, you've actually got to carefully deconstruct the existing building and fit all the new requirements, whether it's services or structure or even the new uses, within the existing planning and fabric of the building.
My name is Jackie O'Donnell. I'm lead QS on the Town Hall project for Naylor Love. The Town Hall is an amazing, iconic part of Wellington. The heritage element of it is just fantastic, and for Naylors to be part of keeping this building, refurbishing it back to its former glory, it's just something that we can be so proud of.
My name's Jesse Hallett-Cochran. I'm a site manager for Naylor Love on the Wellington Town Hall project with a focus on heritage and architecture. At the Town Hall, my job's to preserve and reinstate all the heritage items. The directive is to save everything that we possibly can, right down to framing members. All the doors are getting reused, all the pressed metal, all the mouldings and all the timber mouldings on the stairs and all the timber trims are getting reused or recreated if they're damaged.
The Town Hall is essentially a heritage project, and the main features we'll be focusing on in that regard are the ones that are most visible to the public: the bluestone, the pressed metal ceilings and the interior plasterwork.
To preserve everything, we've got to make sure we disassemble. As opposed to going in and doing demolition, we're doing salvage. And some things aren't built to be removed. We've got to think outside the box on how to get those done.
My name's Matt Turnbull. I'm a project manager for Naylor Love, and I've been working at the Town Hall since the project started. Our digital team takes a lot of time mapping out and using the 3D information and developing 2D drawings to provide to our builders to be able to rebuild this building from the ground up. While we're doing the construction of the works, we've also got the opportunity to scan the building as it's being built to ensure that at each step the building will match.
All the barcoding started right at the start. Barcodes around the building, barcodes on every item, and then start disassembling essentially. That's where the bluestone comes into it.
So the bluestone is called Malmesbury bluestone, and it's from Australia originally, and it was very fashionable at the time to have it in New Zealand. Bluestone has had to be removed from the building so that we could install new steel reinforced concrete under the brick walls.
Each pier had 10 to 15 pieces of bluestone removed. When we took the bluestone off, each piece of bluestone was tagged and labelled. So when the bluestone goes back on, each piece of bluestone goes back exactly where it was removed from.
Now where they were being remounted, there was so much steel reinforcing in the concrete. To be able to poke in another piece of steel to mount the stone onto, they had to map out all of the structural steel that was inside the concrete so that they could find gaps, tiny gaps, where they could then drill later.
Going into this project, we would need specialist trades working alongside us. We ideally needed to make sure that those companies had done heritage work in the past. So we spent a good part of our time with making sure that we had the right team working with us.
You need particular expertise in your field, and Naylor Love have hired some real specialist contractors to achieve that. We've got Bramco doing the masonry, Biggins with the internal plasterwork, and National Pressed Metal from Australia doing the pressed metal ceilings in the auditorium and the debating chamber.
Pressed metal is thin pieces of tin stamped into different shapes and different profiles to create the ornate ceilings. The pressed metal ceilings are quite fragile, so we have a specialist contractor who comes in. They know how to remove it and how to reinstate it without damaging it. The contractor we use actually has a lot of the original stamps, so they're actually recreating exactly from the 1800s and the early 1900s, hence why we've used them on the Town Hall. Building any stair is complex, especially with curves and heritage handrails and then the heritage plasterwork that flows on from that. All the heritage balustrades and handrails were taken apart and disassembled, and they all just clipped together and stored those with the barcodes on them, so we could easily track them down and lay them back out as they came out. We then had to recreate the stair, re-pour that in concrete, and then within that we cast back in the existing cast iron balustrade.
And Naylor Love is working with their own carpentry teams.
They have experience in complex procedures and building methods and techniques that they've been able to use for us to be able to recreate or refurbish and put back what was there before.
It's one of Naylor Love's strengths to be able to give back to the younger workforce by employing and engaging carpenters who've got great experience and then bringing apprentices through the company to learn off those qualified tradesmen.
The staircase is a lot of plastering. We've got Biggins working on the project, a father-son combo, who have taken moulds of those cornices and they'll be able to recreate the plaster features in a seamless manner. And Biggins, he's been able to use the Town Hall as a fertile learning ground for his own son to learn the trade which he's an expert in. And I'm really looking forward to the fact that he'll be able to take that expertise and use it elsewhere in New Zealand.
The redevelopment of the Town Hall is incredibly important for the Civic Square. It'll re-enliven that whole area, it will bring in students, the public will be able to come back and reuse and enjoy all the facilities. It'll provide the home for the new National Music Centre.
So the next generation of New Zealand's best musicians will be learning their trade in the Town Hall and making music which we'll hopefully all be enjoying for generations to come.
What's quite exciting about a project like this one is that because it's open to the public, once the project's finished, we'll be able to take our friends and family through the building and actually show them what we've been working so hard on for the last 6 or 7 years. Almost gets you emotional. What'll be exciting is seeing the tenant and the client and the public move into the building and actually start enjoying it.
I feel extremely proud to have worked on this project. This is going to be a career highlight for me. I know that I'll never work on a project like this again, and I feel both lucky and extremely blessed to have had the opportunity.
I'm so proud of the team that we've got. They have done a phenomenal job. It's been a huge part of all of our lives. Staff members have had babies on this project and weddings, and so it's huge. The personal growth that we've all gone through on this project is something that's going to be with us for a lifetime.